Welcome to Racing 1918 today, guys. Wasn't going to do a video today, but I thought I haven't actually looked at the Daniel Farke interview he did with Sky Sports. I listened to bits of it. I've seen people online on X, and I wanted to sort of respond to the transcript of it in real time, so I have a true feeling of it. The things that I have seen, it's just a man clinging on for dear life here at the minute. You know, he's clinging on to his job. I want to ask you one thing. Just please forgive me about the sound quality today because there is something seriously wrong with with the actual input and output of the sound today. I've sat for an hour trying to fix it, so I will fix it at some point. But right now, listen, I'm going to delve into this. We'll see what the crack is. Hopefully, you can tolerate my analysis, I suppose, but hopefully you can tolerate the sound of this, and hopefully it comes out okay your end. You can hear me. You couldn't hear a thing I was saying earlier, so anything's better than nothing at this stage, unless you don't like me and you just turn off. It's 100%. No problem in that. You don't want my opinion, you don't like me, 100%, don't watch. If you do, you're more than welcome here. Everybody's more than welcome. All opinions are like our souls. We all have one. I respect everybody's opinion. So we'll get into this now. I'm going to pull it up and we'll discuss the Daniel Farke with Sky Sports News as all our players are on international duty. And we'll touch on a few bits maybe before that. So I suppose like it's only like a minute 45, 2 minutes long. So it's not that long. It's not the usual sort of in-depth sort of analysis that we need to do for the like the pressers and stuff like that. That can come later in the week. But to me, it just sounded very, very straightforward as a man trying to cling on to his job. Interviewer asked him what we're sitting on one point above relegation zone, 4 defeats in 5, pressure mounting on Farke, calls for change is growing. So we spoke to the boss. So Farke, basically, he says fans are emotional. This is the interviewer. Some are calling for your head. What's the message right now? Farke, look, after we beat West Ham, everybody was saying survival was confirmed. I didn't. There's nobody in this room, nobody in this house. I didn't say that. In fact, after the West Ham game, I was petrified because of the way we played in the second half. I did not say that. In fact, I can tell you now that the vast majority of people that I know that support Leeds, none of us were saying that. Anyway, and now after a few tough results, suddenly it's all panic about relegation. That's football. Fans are emotional. And I completely get that. They've been like this throughout my time here at Leeds, flipping between absolute highs and these lows. But internally, we're not panicking. No one at the club is. We've got 11 points from 11 games. That's exactly on track for what we need to stay up. The board, the players, everyone, we're all aligned in that. I want to make a point here. If your manager is having to come out and say this, you're in trouble. If Sky Sports are asking you, are you getting sacked, Daniel? And you're having to defend this, you're not in a good place. It's clear. You go on Sky Sports, you go on Paddy Power, you go on all these different betting sites. They're all taking odds for new management. I know that the 49ers are talking to other people. We all do. A blind man can see it. But the fact is, he throws out that line again. The emotional fans. Look, Daniel, I'm not going to go over old ground, but I'm going to tell you something, son. You best bet that our fans are going to be emotional. And if the shit hits the fan come Saturday, you're going to find out how emotional the fans are. Because I'm telling you, you're not on thin ice anymore. You're going through it. Your one leg is through that ice. One leg's through it. And you're holding on for dear life. And the more you patronise the fans, the worse this gets for you. Because the Leeds fans, all we ever ask is 100%. You give 100 100% for the jersey, for the club. That's all we ever ask. That's all. There's a lot of those players that we can clearly see is not giving 100%. And is that the manager's fault or is that the player's fault? That's a debate for somebody else to have. Not right now. I'm not going to get into that. But I don't think that Daniel Farke has all those players. There's no way. So the interviewer goes, fair point, but you've got Newcastle, Man City, Arsenal coming up. That's a brutal stretch. Well, actually, it's not. It's actually, it's actually Villa, Chelsea, City, and Liverpool coming up, not in that order. So we've got to keep our heads down and do what we're good at. What is that? Is that scoring goals? Or is that defending? Concentrating ourselves like we did to win promotion last season. We're not playing Plymouth, Daniel. The fan supporter at Ellen Road is our biggest weapon. That intensity, that noise, that's massive. These are tough games, no doubt. But we have shown we can punch above our weight against the big boys. Remember that West Ham performance? That's the real us. West Ham are not a fucking big boy, Daniel. They were in the worst run that they've ever had in the Premier League. And you're calling them watch the big boys. We played the big boy Arsenal and we got tanked 5-0. Talking shite. We're building something sustainable here. This is just a blip, a sticky patch. I believe in the squad. They've got quality, the hunger. We stick to the plan. If you believe in the squad, why the other day were you blaming the transfer window? If you believe in this squad, why are you blaming the transfer window? Something isn't right, Daniel. Doesn't make sense. You either have the squad or you don't. Does that mean come January we don't need to bring players in? We hold on to you because you believe in this squad. Daniel, listen, you're on the road. The question that Sky Sports actually raised here was from Tim Sherwood. They could have used different voices. There's loads of voices in the media, and they had to go with Tim Sherwood. And I don't understand. The only thing in my head would be the fact that Tim Sherwood used to be a manager. So Farke, he sort of speaks from a position of power in that sense. But Farke's response basically was Tim's entitled to his opinion, of course. He's a pundit, that's his job. But I'm focusing training on the training pitch, not the headlines of the chat shows. The 49ers back me 100%. And that's what counts. We're in this together, the staff, the players and fans. Let's get results on the board and all this noise will fade. At what point this season, Daniel, have you showed us that you have the capability to go and get a result against Aston Villa, Man City, Chelsea or Liverpool? The 49ers, if they back you so much, why are they in talks with other people? And people can say, well, how do you know that? And that's a lot of shit. Listen, they're in talks with other people. And if that's the case, then why on earth are we entertaining Daniel Farke at this point? Farke has, I'm going to say it again, Daniel Farke has definitely got one of the best resumes in whenever it comes to championship football. No doubt about it. He is an absolutely top drawer championship manager. But every time he's been in the top flight, not just in England, but also in Germany, he has failed. People can say he didn't get backed and all the rest, but at Mönchengladbach, he got backed. He was given a European side budget, and he failed by 7 or 8 points to get into Europe. That's why they let him go. They let him go out of a 3-year deal. He was only in 1 year. I think Daniel Farke knows exactly what's going on. He knows exactly why we are where we are. The problem is, I think he's clueless from the sideline. He said there's depth. Like we're looking at look at the managers around us. You look at the likes of Scott Parker, and I've talked about that. and Russell Martin schooled him last season and the season before. But if Scott Parker schooled him last season and this season, Russell Martin schooled him whenever Southampton went into the Premier League, and now Russell Martin's out of a job. He failed at Southampton, and he failed at Rangers, and he schooled Daniel Farke. Now, if you look at the management around us in the lower part of the division, forget the top part where all the top managers are. Just look at the bottom teams. Nuno. Nuno is at Forest. He done absolutely amazingly well, and he's went into West Ham and he's changed it around. The West Ham are going to get beat, but their forward line suggests they will also win games. Wolves, or they've just made their change as well. They brought in the Middlesbrough manager. I'm not saying that's the right man, but what I am saying is very straightforward. Is at least they have acted. A Burnley with expectations and stuff like that, they just want to stay up. Scott Parker's doing a good job with a limited budget and a limited squad. Who absolutely, and people can talk about, oh, we did this and we did that. Listen, we lost against Burnley. We lost. We lost convincingly against Burnley. We lost against Fulham. We lost against Forest. We beat West Ham and we beat Wolves. So we lost 3 out of the 6 bottom teams. We've lost 3 to our relegation rivals at this point. 3. And other than the Fulham goal, we didn't deserve to take any points against Burnley. We didn't deserve to take any points against Forest. It was harsh against Fulham. But again, I come back to that style and identity and where are we? I don't think we have it. We don't have one. We need to bring back, something. Like, people, like Daniel Farke tries to humanize the supporters. But the problem is, he also doesn't realise that he's absolutely patronising us beyond belief. Like, he doesn't want to alienate us from the team, and I don't think the fans will want to do that in any stretch of the imagination. But whenever you're going on the way you're going on like a broken record, and we're an emotional listener. Like every time he's interviewed, he's basically blaming the fans for being emotional. Daniel, factually, you are absolutely out of your depth. And I say this, and I'll say it again. You have a 15% win rate in the Premier League. 15%. Like, we booed the players. We did. The away fans booed the players after Force. Why? It's not because we were bad. It's because we're consistently poor. We don't know where we're going with a tactical plan. Are the players putting in 100%? The stats definitely, to me, in the midfield, if you're losing runners after runner every game, you can talk about the Bournemouth game and the Brighton game, and you can talk about the Forest game. Like, I can add up double-digit goals that we have conceded this season because of the lack of runners from our runners from midfield, cracking runs from the midfield of the opposition. There's teams we are playing against that where our centre backs are like maybe 3 or 4 players. What do? They're up against 2 strikers, maybe a striker, a 10, and then you're up against 2 or 3 midfielders making runs. What does Bijol, Strike, or Rodon do there? It's the people have to get real here. Your captain is the number 4. He's meant to lead by example. What is he doing? This has to be coming from the sideline. Our midfield can't be that bad. Anton Stack has played for Germany. He was one of the best defensive mid/6s in the German Bundesliga last year. Ampadu's is captain. Wales international captain as well. Longstaff, Premier League, the last 7-8 years of his career. Newcastle, Champions League. These men they can't be losing runners from the midfield. Something's not right. Either they are really performing poorly, all three of them, by the way, not just or DCL, always missing chances. The three central midfielders are performing poorly. Our centre backs, people are calling out. People are calling out the goalkeeper. What's the goalkeeper meant to do? You've got to get real here. Every player that we're calling out can't be wrong. Every single player in this team cannot be failing. It has to be a tactical thing. You're telling me three central midfielders and none of them's picking up one runner. It means that there's an overload constantly through the centre and on the wings. How's Daniel Farke not picking these things up? 3 cutbacks against Brighton. The Gibbs White goal against Forest. That's 4 goals in 2 games. They all came from the midfield. All came from runners. The cutbacks, okay, our fullbacks are beaten. Where's our midfield and defence? The defence is standing on the goal line trying to stop the ball going in the net more often than not. The midfield's nowhere to be seen. There's a real lack of quality, but also on the pitch in the midfield that's being shown to us right now. But there's a real lack of leadership from the sideline, and we'll have to get real here. And people will say, look, sometimes better the devil, careful what you wish for, that type of thing. We are in a situation like this. Something has to change. If it doesn't change, we're just plummeting. That's just the way it is. We're going down, and nobody's going to stop it. Because if we wait too long, we're screwed. And if we don't change Daniel Farke, we're screwed. So the situation is the next 2 games, and let's go. We need to get somebody in. I was going to say something I can't say yet, so I'll just leave that. My real concern is he talks about the focus on the process, focus on the process, focus on the process. Right. What is the process, Daniel? Is it defensive capabilities and playing a counter-attack? No, it's not that. Is it playing long ball? No, it's not that. Is it playing 4-3-3 that doesn't work? That's exactly what it is. The process is, it doesn't work, so we'll keep doing it. Like, it's almost like he's trying to get like an us against the world mentality, and it just isn't working because the fans don't trust him. We just don't. We don't. He doesn't trust us, and we don't trust him. Um, the fact of the matter is, it's not us against the world, Daniel. It's you're fighting for your job, and you're gone. I think if you're coming out and doing an interview on Sky Sports News, then there's trouble. And I'll tell you the God's honest truth. Look, if you're Daniel Farke and you're sitting on Sky Sports News doing an interview the week of a Premier League game, you're in trouble. That's all focused on your job. Sky Sports have taken it upon themselves to go to Thorpe Arch to sit down with Daniel Farke and ask him these questions. And to be fair, let's be honest, they were low ball questions. It wasn't exactly hard hitting interview. It was quite easy. Like Daniel Farke is turning around and saying, "Oh, the board's this and the board's that," and listen, the board haven't come out and backed you, Daniel, and nor do I expect them to because they're hiding from the bloody transfer window. They only come out whenever it's safe to come out. The fact of the matter is, I think, I know we're talking to people. We all see the betting. We all see the commentary. If the 49ers are truly great businessmen, they get rid of you. It's just about when's correct. The next 4 games, you cannot have these 4 games. I'll tell you something. This weekend against Villa, obviously we're all supporting Leeds. We're all supporting the club. We're all supporting the team. But seeing if it comes to that game, I hope we get 3 points, but I hope you piss off. Because we will never get 3 points because of you. We will get 3 points in spite of you. And that's my concern. And people can argue and say, well, sometimes it's better the devil, it's better the devil. Well, you don't know that some of them managers that have been linked to us could be the greatest money. They might not be good, but the way we are right now, we are sleepwalking. We are sleepwalking back to the championship, and nothing's going to happen. The fact that he can dismiss any critics, Tim Sherwood said that he's under. Listen, it's not just Tim Sherwood. It's people on the BBC. It's people on Sky. It's the fans in the terraces. It's the fans online. It's not just Tim Sherwood. It's everybody. The thing is, like, he's trying to be optimistic whenever we're in the position we're in. How can you be optimistic whenever the fans, I mean, how can we be optimistic in a man that doesn't show any tactical prowess? How can we be optimistic when the teams in and around us are all making the correct decisions? I'll give you an example. There was issues there with Fulham, and we were linked to Silva. Well, Silva's been offered a long-term deal, so within that deal, apparently he's going to get X amount of millions in January to strengthen the squad. Blah 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 blah. So Fulham are strengthening by keeping their manager, who is a very good manager at this level, and they're going to spend. The teams under us, Forest, Wolves, and West Ham, have all sacked their manager, and they've brought in new managers. Two out of those three teams are now on an upward trend. We're on a downward trend, and Burnley are sitting with Scott Parker, and what else do they expect? So we're in a situation right now where we're sitting on our hands, and the PR is a disaster from the club because they're sitting doing nothing. The 49ers are hiding as they do, unless something good is coming out of this. Whenever we make a change, they will turn around and they will come out of their woodwork and they'll start talking. But the fact of the matter is, Daniel, don't get too comfortable because this is only temporary. Your seat, you've only got another week and a half to 2 weeks with it because we will bring somebody else in. We need to bring somebody else in. This can't go on. If you've got such a poor win rate in the Premier League, how on earth can we expect to survive with you? 15% with two different clubs and a failure at Mönchengladbach, all in the top flight. How are we meant to survive? We can't. Listen, again, I'm going to say something. Nothing comes through Brian Cross or Graham Smith. Very, very rare. I would be surprised if the 49ers use them guys. Keep an eye on Mike Keegan. He's the one close to the club. I personally believe Villa, Man City, sacked, new manager, Chelsea, Liverpool, then we go on a run of 4 games that we can pick something up before the window, before the transfer window. We gotta keep the faith in the lads. I keep the faith in the lads. We have to. That's what we have. We can change the manager. We can change. I was going to say we can change tactics, but I don't know what our tactics are to change. 4-3-3 doesn't work. Oh, I'll do 4-3-3 then. Oh, it doesn't work, Daniel. Oh, we'll do 4-3-3 then, will we? I am praying that some of them lads come back and they're all free from injury and international duty, and they come back and they're fit and they're ready to go, and we kick on. Because you know what? We have a good bunch of people that some of them aren't having them. Possibly. Yeah. The whole Willie Ronaldo thing goes back to last season. It's back to last season. But it is what it is. There's always an issue with somebody, isn't there? There's always an issue with somebody. 17-year-old Colin Harry Gray won't talk about him. What is that about? What is that about? He's got a real issue with trying to bleed the young lads through. I don't get it. Daniel, it's time to go. Cheerio. Thanks for watching. If there's anything else happens, I'll be on. But yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out. On.